So today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most important bits of UK law we've seen in a long, long time, the Data Use and Access Act 2025. And look, this isn't just some minor update, it's a massive new rulebook for our entire digital age, and the government is switching it on part by part as we speak.
Yeah, whenever you see the Royal Coat of Arms on a document like this, you know it's the real deal. This act, which officially became law back in June 2025, is basically a new foundation. It's built to regulate, to reform, and really to rebuild the UK's whole approach to data, everything from our personal privacy all the way up to our national infrastructure. Which, brings us to the big question here. This absolutely monumental law is now being brought to life through a whole series of official orders. And it's on the verge of changing everything, literally. How you prove who you are online, how companies are allowed to handle your data, even what happens when AI messes up. So what's really inside this thing?
Okay, so to really get what's happening right now, we've got to zoom out for a second and just appreciate the sheer scale of this act. I want you to think of the Data Act 2025 not as just one new rule, but more like a complete operating system update for the entire country's digital world. It is designed to touch pretty much every single aspect of how data is used and accessed.
I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. The Act's own language right at the top lays out this incredible ambition. This is not about tweaking things around the edges. Just the intro alone tells us it's going after customer data sharing, digital ID, data protection, personal privacy, and even the regulation of AI systems. It's unbelievably far-reaching.
So let's take that moment to zoom out and look at the major pieces of this legislation. Once you see the full scope, you'll understand exactly why the government is being so careful, activating it in these very deliberate phases. This is the master plan. And you can see just how huge that master plan is. The Act is really built on these massive pillars. You've got frameworks for smart data, kind of like open banking, but for other sectors. It sets up the rulebook for official digital ID services. It even creates a national map of all the pipes and cables under our feet. And, most importantly for our story today, it completely overhauls data protection, it reforms the data watchdog, and it gets tough on online safety, including making deepfake intimate images a specific crime. It's just a colossal piece of work. Okay, so now that we have that massive scope in our heads, let's zero in on what's happening right now. The government uses a tool called a Commencement Order to basically flip the switch and turn on different parts of the Act. We've had a few already, but this latest one, Commencement Order No. 6, well, it's a very big deal. This timeline really helps put it all into perspective. If you look back to December 2025, that's when Order No. 4 turned on the new framework for digital IDs. Then, just a few weeks ago, we got this rapid-fire 1-2 punch. On February 6th, Order No. 5 activated the new offenses for intimate deepfakes. But our focus today, the really crucial part, is what happened the day before that, February 5th, 2026. That's when Commencement Order No. 6 flipped the switch on some seriously powerful new enforcement tools for the UK's data regulator. So just to be super clear on this, these commencement orders are the legal keys that start the engine. Parliament can pass an act, but it just sits there, dormant, until these orders are issued. They are literally what brings the law to life, section by section. And here's the heart of it. Commencement No. 6 is all about one very specific part of the Act, Section 115. What this section does is give the UK's data regulator, the Information Commissioner, a whole new toolbox for investigating and enforcing the rules, especially when it comes to our privacy and electronic communications. And who is this Information Commissioner? We'll think of them as the independent referee in the world of data. It's their job to make sure everyone, from the biggest tech giants to the smallest local businesses, is playing by the rules with your information. So Section 115 is basically a major power-up for this referee. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting and a little bit complicated. When you turn on new powers, you have to ask a critical question. How do they apply to things that happened before you flipped the switch? Well, the fine print of Commencement No. 6 has a very specific answer. And here it is, the crucial difference. What the rules say is this. The Information Commissioner can now use their powerful new investigation tools, like forcing people to give interviews, on any case, no matter when the conduct happened. But, and this is the key part, if the data breach or whatever it was happened before February 5th, 2026, any punishment has to follow the old rules. For anything that happens on or after that date, it's the full force of both the new investigation powers and the new, tougher penalties.
Right, so this isn't just a bunch of legal theory. These changes have very real, tangible effects on the ground. What does this power up for the regulator actually mean for you as an individual, for businesses, and for the watchdog itself? You can see it creates this clear ripple effect. For us, for individuals, it means we get new, stronger procedures for making official complaints to companies about how they use our data. It gives our complaints more legal weight. For businesses, it means new legal duties to actually handle those complaints properly, all while knowing the regulator has much sharper teeth. And finally, for the regulator, the Information Commissioner's Office, it means they can go into these investigations with a much stronger hand, with the power to dig deeper and demand more answers than ever before.
And that leaves us with this final thought. The legal machinery is now officially in place. The switches have been flipped on some of the most critical parts of this huge new act. The UK's data watchdog now has new powers and sharper teeth. The big question that's left is, how will they use them? Is the regulator truly ready for the fight against the massive, complex data challenges we face today? The new rulebook is open. The game has absolutely changed.